Hi and welcome to the companion video or the helper for the border of the Little House on the Prairie pilot inspired Sontag. So to start this video, I'm sorry that I can't get this in a wider shot, so I'll just be holding up the pieces to the camera as best as possible, but I think it'll still be helpful and I'll still be able to get my point across, hopefully. So what you want to do, if you're not, whether or not you're following the suggested size directions or not, you can make this pattern any size that you wish. You just have to end with a specific stitch count on your last row. So you want to make sure that you have 4 stitches in groups as you go along, because the border that we're going to be using requires multiples of 4. So let me go ahead and show you the end. This is the edge here. As you can see, if you're familiar with the pattern because you've been working it, then you will have 4 double crochets worked into the top chain of the row below, and then you'll have a treble on the edge here. So this basically just is the edge stitch. So what you'll do is you'll count this 4 on the end as 4. So that's one group of 4. And then these 4 stitches that make up these crisscross doubles, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So then this is 4, this is 4, this is 4. So you'll keep counting along, and I'm going to reach the end and then show you what we have. Okay, so I'm coming up here on the end. I've been counting 4 all the way along. I got to 4, 4, and then these last 4 make 4. So do you see these 2 double crochet right here that are in the spine, but they're not crisscrossed? These still count as 2 stitches, and your last crisscross plus the 2 doubles should make up your last set of 4. If, for instance, like on the row below, what happens is this is the last 4 with 2 extra. That's not going to do. If anything is left over, like in this row below, it's not going to work for the border. So you want it to be where your last stitch up until the very middle counts as 4. So this is my last group of 4 right here, which means this is perfect for the border. So now let me go ahead and talk about the way that single crochets go in. So when you start putting your single crochets in, you're going to do a single crochet in the top of the chain from the row below, so the 4th loop of the chain, and then in every stitch across. So it's going to go in every single space. So this is a stitch, this is a stitch, this is a stitch, the top of every crisscross. Don't put anything in the spaces. Just count every stitch from the row below as a stitch. So then when you get to the spine, you're going to put, of course, your 2 singles right here and these 2 doubles, and then you're going to put 3 single crochets in the middle or the spine space. Then you're going to work single crochets all the way back down the other side, ending with a single crochet. Make sure there's a single crochet in the top of the chain from the row below. And now that we've done this setup, we are going to be prepared now to work the border. Okay, so before we get started on the actual border in action, I wanted to show you a swatch. This is a little mini version of the shawl in worsted weight yarn, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter. This is just a demonstration of what the border is going to look like. Now, it is quite a bit bigger here, but don't mind that. But basically what we're going to have is groups of 4, followed by a chain that loops to the next one, and 7 double crochet in the loop, and then they'll get joined, and one will be behind the next, behind the next, behind the next, and that will create this wavy border. If you've worked it right, you will have 1 or 2 skip stitches in the spine before you do just 1 double that your 7 will stand on top of. and that will give it a really nice drape. The only difference we're going to have here is we're going to factor in the chain 4 or the edge treble stitch. We're going to factor that into the ones on the corners or the ones on the edges, and then every other one is going to follow the exact same stitch count and repeat. So I just wanted to show you this little swatch first so you could get an idea of how the border is going to look with bigger, more defined stitches. Okay, so next we will be working through the border a little bit together so you can get an idea of how it goes. Okay, so in the last row, I finished up my single crochets, putting the last single crochet in the top chain of the chain 4 below. I chained 4 and now I have turned my work. What I want to do is go ahead and put 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches so that they will basically lay on top of the 4 double crochet of the 2 rows below, the row right before your single crochet row. So now I have 4 on top of 4. Now what I'm going to do is chain 4. Now this is a little bit tricky, but basically what you want to do is ring one of your fingers around to be in the front of the chain and hold the work like this. Pinch it like this to where your finger is in the middle of the row of 4 with the chain in the back. And now we're going to put a slip stitch in, and you can either put the slip stitch, it depends on the look, it does not matter at all. You can either put the slip stitch in the top chain of the chain 4, or you can put it in the first double crochet here. It's kind of, I wonder which one I want to put it in. I'm going to go ahead and just put it in the top chain. So make sure to just grab our yarn from right here and don't get the chain 4 caught up in it. Pull through 1, pull through 2. Now we're going to have this loop in the back. Now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to do 7 double crochets inside this chain space here. So it's very similar to crocheting inside a magic loop. You can just pretend this is a magic loop. So I'm going to double crochet 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm gonna double crochet into the next 4 stitches. I'm going to chain 4 again. Now, we're going to kind of flip the work, kind of turn it flat to where your working side, your right side is kind of facing downward. Now we need to slip stitch, but you got all these different places you could slip stitch, but what we really need to make sure we go into is this space right here. There's a little bar created by the chains that you chain the first time when you put your 7 double crochet in. So we're going to slip stitch into this space right here, through and through. So now we have that joined, and we're going to chain 1 and do 7 double crochet again into the chain space. So I'm going to finish this and then meet you back. Okay, so I finished that. Now I'm going to repeat this sequence one more time before I start working onward towards the center of the spine of the shawl so we can see what we're going to be doing there. But to resume, I'm going to double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches, which would be this one, this one, this one, and this one. We're just going to follow it straight along. One. This yarn is a little bit tricky. It really is. It's so fine. That it can be Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to chain 4 again. Turn the work downward to find this back loop right here and slip stitch into that. Now we're going to chain 1 and do 7 double crochet in the loop. And we're going to continue doing this exact same thing until we reach the middle point, and I'll meet you back there because it's really important we do something very different in the center. So I'll meet you back. Okay, so now we have reached the spine. So I've done 4 double crochet in the last 4 double crochets that are crisscrossed below. And then I did my slip stitch, my chain, and then I did 7 double crochets in the loop. So now what we're going to do, instead of trying to double crochet in everything, we've got 3 single crochets right here in this spine space. So you can see right here is where we left off. We're going to skip 1 and put 1 double crochet in the center of the 3 singles. So we're going to skip this one and put 1 double into the center. Now instead of our 4 as a cluster, this one is going to be enough on its own. This one's going to stand alone at the point of the shawl. So now that we have this one double crochet, we're going to chain 4 and we're going to join to the back with a slip stitch just like we've been doing all along. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to do 7 double crochets in the chain 4 space. This makes 6 and this makes 7. Okay, so now we're going to skip 1 again because we skipped 1. We skipped the first of the 3 singles. We double crocheted in the second one, and now we're going to skip the 3rd single and resume with 4 double crochets. Going back down our other side of the shawl. Ooh. Sorry. Okay, so now we're going to do a chain 4 and we're going to go into the loop just like we have been on the back side with a slip stitch and a chain 1 and 7 doubles. Oop. This yarn is really fighting me this time. I'm going to have to start over with my 7. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now this is what the center should look like. You can see really clearly there. Here are our 3 singles in the spine. We skipped 1, double crocheted, continued with the wave pattern, then we skipped another one and resumed with 4. So then you'll just keep going down with 4 the same way that you came up, and then I'll show you the end. Okay, so now we are at the very end. We've done double crochets in the last 4 stitches, and then we've done our chain 4, we've joined it, and then we've done our double crochet 7, but now we need somewhere to end this. And also we want to make it the same as the other end. The other side where we started technically had 5 stitches. It was a chain 4, and then we went into the double crochet 4, but we need some sort of edge stitch. So basically all I'm going to do is just go into the top chain that I can find with a double crochet. Easier said than done with this really fine yarn. Okay. There we go. Now we will just draw up a loop, chain 1 and draw up a loop. I think I'm going to make the tail a little bit longer actually. And then from there I'll cut and I will pull that out and weave in my ends. Then, as you might have seen in the written pattern, it's optional, but you can add some ties at either end of this, be it single crochet or chain. You can add that to either end and then have a way to tie it in the back, or you can tuck it. It's really versatile. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Message me on Etsy at Vintage Infusion by Kay, where you got the pattern. I usually respond fairly quickly as long as I don't have anything come up, but I really strive to get back to people as quickly as possible. I'd be happy to answer anything that even if you just have a slight question and maybe you're unsure about something, I'd be glad to clarify it. I really appreciate you watching. Have a great day.